Hi, I'm going to talk today a little bit about change. For me, change is a massive trigger for both my anxiety and my depression. I think it can be quite similar for a lot of people. Change, particularly when it's not in your control, can be very overwhelming and can trigger a lot of thoughts, worried thoughts. Obviously it can, for people without mental health issues, it can trigger a bit of anxiety and a bit of worry. I think for those that have anxiety or depression, it can be more intense, but also that change can be smaller and can have the same effect. And I think that's something that people don't always realise. When I say to people I don't like change, I think people instantly think it means changing jobs, moving house, new relationships, something like that, like a massive change. And it doesn't always have to be that. It can be really small changes that can also trigger like quite big panic attacks for me. It can be changes to other people's lives in a way sometimes, because I worry how it's going to sort of, I guess, maybe impact mine, which I know sounds actually incredibly selfish, and it's not that I don't want them to have that change, it's just, it's how I'm going to cope with it. I think that the panic comes. I think at this moment there's obviously been quite a lot of change. First of all, there was the change from our normal, our everyday lives to the lockdown, and it was really dramatic. It was very quick. You know, 1 minute we were living our lives, and the next minute we were locked down inside our houses, away from people we loved, and different work routines, trying to survive, different ways of shopping, everything changed overnight basically, and that was, I think, for everyone really, really difficult. I've mentioned it before, that first week I really struggled. Like I couldn't get my head together. It was all over the place. Like I didn't understand how to live my life in this new world. But obviously there was also all the worry about what was going on. We're now getting to a point where change is going to happen again. There is talk of the exit strategy, the new normal, what we have to get used to. Now I understand that people need to be prepared for this, but the constant reminder that there is this new normal, this new life, this new way of living is actually causing me a lot of anxiety, a lot of sleepless nights, because no one obviously has told us what it will be. No one knows what it's going to be. I don't know what it's going to be, so I can't plan for it. If I can't plan for it, how will I know I'm okay? How will I know that my family okay? Will I be able to survive it? Will I be able to cope with my anxiety? Will I be able to still work, still have a career, still have a life? What about all the plans for the rest of my life? I want to get married, I want to have a baby, I want to travel, I want to look, sort of have this career that I've set out for myself. How's that all going to work? Will I be able to even just go shopping? Will I be able to see my friends again? What will me and my boyfriend do? Will we survive? And this is how it goes. One little thing can trigger all of those emotions, and then from that it gets bigger and bigger because I start worrying about each one of those, till I'm often consumed. Sometimes that can be in a form of a panic attack, sometimes it can just be sleepless nights, sometimes it can just be a feeling of constant anxiety, this heart racing constantly, that sickness in my stomach, that paranoia that something really bad is going to happen at any moment. So all of that is really hard to deal with. If I'm I wish I could say to you, this is what I do and this is how it makes me feel better. And I honestly, I can't, because at the moment, I am not coping very well with it. I am struggling. I am feeling really anxious. The best way at the moment for me to cope is almost to not think about it. So again, I'm trying to keep off social media. and just trying to think about the things I can control. Now, I'm unfortunately in a position where my organisation that I work for has just gone through a restructure, and the restructure has had to be announced during the pandemic. So there has now been a second change, a change in my line management. Hopefully not really a change in my job, but you know, it's sort of still feels a bit up in the air. And I know that obviously there's a lot of other people that are going through similar things, and whether you don't work for my organisation, which some of you obviously won't, you may have had changes to your job. You might be being told that the job is going to change when you come back, that you're having to look at different ways of being able to do your job. Maybe you've been furloughed. All of those things are big changes, and I don't think we always accept that they are really tough, actually. So if you have been thrown by one of those changes to your life, if you are not coping, not really understanding and not knowing what your future holds because of these changes, you are not alone, and you've got nothing to feel embarrassed about or ashamed about. It's actually okay to just go, you know what, this is really unsettling. This is causing me some anxiety. You know, obviously if you can talk to someone, talk to a line manager, talk to a colleague, you know, if that helps, that's great. For me, the thing that I am doing is trying to think about what I can control. I'm looking at the little things. I think it's really important that, I think the hardest thing with change is when it's change that's been sort of that happens to you, not that's something in your control. And that for me is the thing that I can't deal with. And I know that might not be for everyone, but I like to feel in control, and so I try and find ways to sort of feel that control. And I think it's often really good to remind yourself that if you don't like that change, you can do something about it. You know, if you have moved house and you don't like it, it's not ideal, but move again or change the house. If your friends, I don't know, move away or go on maternity leave or whatever it is, and you are feeling lost without them, then find ways to make sure that you can still stay connected with them, make plans with them, find ways to make new friends, find people that you can do other things with. If it is a job thing, then think about how you're going to make that job something you love. You know, find positives in the thing that the job that you've got. And if you really don't like it, then, you know, you don't have to stay. You know, you can always get a new job. And sometimes I don't even end up doing half the things I plan, but I feel better for having that plan, because I know that I can control that. If I don't like the change that's happening, I can control it so that I can make my life something that I will enjoy. I think it's really easy when you're depressed and anxious to fall into a victim scenario, and you really beat yourself up and you're like, God, this is awful. Everything about you is awful. This is all your fault. Of course, this has happened to you. This is because you're a bad person. You never have any luck. You're awful. You know, everyone else has it better. Maybe if you were better, maybe if you were nicer, kinder, prettier, funnier. Honestly, you know, these are the crazy things that go through my head. And actually, change just happens. Things happen in the world and we can't control it. To be honest, my family would laugh hearing me say that, because I am the worst person for accepting it. But it is true. They are right. I know that they say it to me all the time and I don't listen, but I'm getting better at accepting that change happens and that it's not necessarily because of me. It's not got anything to do with me. But what has got something to do with me is how I react to it, how I move forward, how I find the positive things in it, so that I can still enjoy what's happening. And sometimes change can be a really good thing. But I know that's scary, and I know it doesn't always feel like that. So right now, if you feel overwhelmed, scared, terrified, anxious, upset, you can't get up, you can't do anything, whatever it is that you're feeling, it's okay. You're not alone. You will get through this. Just keep breathing, keep taking it one thing at a time. Honestly, you will be okay.